As we file out of the classroom 40 minutes later, I notice the dark-haired Hansler in the hallway, watching us. He seems to take extra time on me, but I try hard not to notice. Instead, I keep my head down and walk quickly towards the gymnasium to find James. I check over my shoulder to make sure no one is following me before turning down the stark white corridor with the metal double doors. It's nearly impossible to trust anyone to not report you for suspicious behavior. Not even our parents. Especially not our parents. It was Lacey's father who called the program to tell them that she was unwell. So now James, Miller, and I do everything we can to keep up the front at home. Smiles and small talk equal well-balanced and healthy. I wouldn't dare show my parents anything else. Not now. But once I turn 18, the program loses its hold on me. I won't be a minor, so they can no longer force me into treatment. Although my risk doesn't technically lower, the program is bound to the laws of the land. I'll be an adult, and as an adult it's my God-given right to off myself if I so please. Unless the epidemic gets worse, then who knows what they'll do. When I get to the gymnasium doors, I push on the cold metal bar and slip inside. It's been years since this part of the building was used. The program cut athletics immediately after taking over, claiming it added too much competitive stress to our fragile student population. Now the space is used for storage. Unused desks pile in the corner, stacks of unneeded textbooks. Anyone see you? I jump and look at James as he stands in the cramped space underneath the folded bleachers. Our space. The emotionless armor I've been wearing weakens. No, I whisper. James holds out his hands to me, and I meet him in the shadows, pressing myself close to him. It's not a good day, I murmur against his mouth. It rarely is. James and I have been together for over 2 years, since I was 15, but I've known him my entire life. He'd been best friends with my brother Brady before he killed himself. I choke on the memory, like I'm drowning in it. I pull from James and bang the back of my head on the corner of the wooden bleacher above us. Wincing, I touch my scalp, but don't cry. I wouldn't dare cry at school. Let me see, James says, reaching to rub his fingers over the spot. You are probably protected by all this hair. He grins and lets his hand glide into my dark curls, resting it protectively on the back of my neck. When I don't return his smile, he pulls me closer. Come here, he whispers, sounding exhausted as he puts his arms around me. I hug him, letting the pictures of Brady fade from my head, along with the picture of Lacey being dragged from her house by handlers. I slide my hand under the sleeve of James's t-shirt and onto his bicep where his tattoos are. The program makes us anonymous, strips us of our right to mourn, because if we do, we can get flagged for appearing depressed. So James has found another way. On his right arm, he's keeping a list in permanent ink of those we've lost, starting with Brady. I'm having bad thoughts, I tell him. Then stop thinking, he says simply. They took Kendra last period. It was horrible. And Lacey? Stop thinking, James says again, a little more forcefully. I look up at him, the heaviness still in my chest as I meet his eyes. It's hard to tell in the shadows, but James's eyes are light blue, the sort of crystal blue that can make anyone stop with just a glance. He's stunning that way. Kiss me instead, he murmurs. I lean forward to press my lips to his, letting him have me in a way that only he can. A moment filled with sadness and hope. A bond of secrets and promises of forever. It's been 2 years since my brother died. Practically overnight, our lives were changed. We don't know why Brady killed himself, why he abandoned us. But then again, no one knows what's causing the epidemic, not even the program. Above us, the bell for class rings, but neither James nor I react. Instead, James's tongue touches mine, and he pulls me closer, deepening our kiss. Although dating is allowed, we try to keep our relationship low-key at school, at least when we can. The program claims that forming healthy bonds keeps us emotionally strong. But then again, if it all goes horribly wrong, they can just make us forget. The program can erase anything. I swipe my dad's car keys, James whispers between my lips. What do you say we go skinny dipping in the river after school? How about you get naked and I'll just watch? Works for me. I laugh, and James gives me one more squeeze before taking his arms from around me. He pretends to fix my hair, really just messing it up more. Better get to class, he says finally, and tell Miller he's invited to watch me swim naked too. I back away, first kissing my fingers, then holding them up in a wave. James smiles. He always knows what to say to me, how to make me feel normal. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have survived Brady's death without him. In fact, I know I wouldn't have. After all, suicide is contagious.